Oh, I guess we're
Okay, guys.
okay. Okay,
Hello,
we're live now. He- yeah, we're live.
hello,
Hello,
hello
Komi.
everyone.
Hello,
Yeah.
Bera. Yeah, hello.
Hi, good to see you. Good to see you
Yeah,
guys.
good to see you too.
Thank you
Good to see
everyone
you
who
too.
has come for our Unmute Yourself series. We're doing our October session today about the evolving world of tech, and we'll be having Otobong Peter leading us today. My name is Perizim Singo. I'm the Human Resources Officer in 360 Leadership Network. Otobong is the co-lead of the network. A little bit about Otobang Peter. He graduated in electrical and electronics engineering, and also while on campus, he is or was the Google Developers Students Club lead, and then he's also now
Did
the
you know
president.
you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Comey Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Uh, we were saying,
Yeah.
yeah, but Otobang Peter is a blockchain developer and also a product manager, which makes him an expert for this topic today. And then he's also the co founder of African Blockchain Center for Developers and 3Web Labs. He describes himself as passionate about leadership, technology, business, and community, particularly on how to merge or combine the different sectors to solve problems bespoke to the African continent. Over to you, Otobang Peter.
Thank you so much, Bera. It's really amazing how the network 360 has actually enabled us to connect and for young persons who are on the continent, giving us the opportunity to build something and also get to, build networks that allows us to express our best self. So thank you so much for the opportunity once more to be on the show. And yeah, so I think there's just so much to talk about today, and I'll just dive in a bit. All right. So is there anything else I need to, or is it just I just need to jump into the topic? And,
Yeah, you can just
so,
jump in.
all right. So alrighty. So today my conversation is just going to be about, around the evolving world of technology. And if you think about it, technology has been one of the most talked about ecosystems in today's world. Literally every single person is talking about technology in one way or the other. And a lot of persons are constantly talking about, getting a career in technology, getting started in tech, and so on and so forth. And it's really interesting to see that technology has done so much for humanity, allowing us to connect. For instance, right now, on this live event, speaking, and thousands of persons around the world are able to access that same content. We are one of the most privileged generations in history of humanity because we now have access to so much information, more information than our ancestors had access to. We have access to more information than Einstein had access to in his entire lifetime. As a result, there's just so much information to plug into, to feed onto, and it makes us sometimes very confused. Recently, I was talking about something which I call the paradox of choice. And the paradox of choice posits that, in a multiplicity of options, it becomes more difficult to make choices. So, in the evolving world of technology, one of the questions now is not really about the technology itself. It's always about beginners are stuck most times in either tutorial, what I call tutorial purgatory, or constantly asking questions about where do I get started. So there's a causal question. You see Google, one of the most searched questions by beginners who are coming to technology is where do I get started? Because it's a ginormous world. It's huge. It's humongous. There's just so much you could do. There's hardware, there's embedded systems, there's IoT, there's software. Even under software development, you have cloud, you have web, you have mobile, you have people that are focused on enterprise, you have people who are focused on building consumer products. So thank you so much, Kumi, for the opportunity. So there's just so much in about the world of technology and just so much that every single person could do about and as we evolve in the ecosystem. So one of the questions mostly is always where do I get started or how do I get started? And I'll just talk briefly about it and then to help you find ways to navigate the world of technology. So I've been in the space of technology for like almost 17 years now doing tech, and I've had the privilege of, trying and exploring different technologies and working in different ecosystems. Um, some years back, I began with web, doing HTML, CSS, the normal things we do. I learned using different content management systems like WordPress. During my internship, one of my first internship in during my undergraduate, I spent about 6 months working on embedded systems projects. So I was working with ESP, Arduino, Raspberry, yeah, I think those were the ESP, Arduino, Raspberry, and I think there's one I'm trying to remember. But those were the technologies I was working with. We're working with different, these PCIs, programmable logic controllers. There was just so much, and I became very interested in robotics at that point. I built some projects from simple calculators to devices that takes in data, makes actions. So every action, you can always program how you want your hardware to function. Is it a motor you're going to add? What sort of sensors? So I worked with different sensors, and there were a lot of libraries to use and all that. So it was really interesting working with embedded systems. But then I was looking at how can I also incorporate this to make it more immersive. So I started exploring animations during that time. I did a bit of graphics designs. I did a course on design theory, and then I came back to understand more about um, the 3D animations a bit. So I did a bit of Blender during that period. And while I was trying to explore animations and everything, I looked at the fact that these machines were more of like, garbage in, garbage out. What you put in is what they will just give you out. But how could we bring some sort of consciousness to these machines? And that's when AI and data science was a buzzword. So I was doing a lot of projects too on AI systems. I did some projects too on data science with Python. I wrote a lot of Python script, worked with Raspberry at that point. In fact, my final year project was focused on the use of machine learning to, automate systems. So it was really crazy because I had to learn more about machine learning. I had to go deeply into computer vision, and then with my knowledge of embedded systems, everything just came together to like form a very unique IoT project that could you recognize human faces and then make decisions based on the data that we fed into the system. So the accuracy level was like 70% was not so good because of course it was a bit slow. It was like I was it was a race against time at the same time. I just had to learn the project, learn using Linux, Ubuntu, and all those sudo apt-get and all that. So the ecosystem is an interesting one, and as we evolve, it's going to really get more and more and more and more, and more interesting. So one of the things I believe though is, as the entire system unfolds in itself, we need to find ways to get relevant. And so people want to go into technology and they're asking, how do I get started? So I'm going to um, answer the first question. The first question is, should you even go into tech? Is tech really for everybody? Or some persons have more analytical skills and it's going to help them? Truth be told, though, is every single person doesn't necessarily need to be into technology. One of the questions I always ask people is, why do you want to go into technology? Some persons will tell you because I'm very passionate. Some persons say because I need the money. It pays well. And to be honest, every single answer makes so much sense. Something needs to drive you. Sometimes we say, well, I'm very, very passionate about this ecosystem. I love technology, and that's why I want to go into technology. But the truth of the matter is that the reason why some persons are going into it because of the high pay of recent, and more jobs are are in technology. But something you need to ask is, must I be in technology? Should I do tech? So the truth is, not every single person might end up doing tech, but in the world where we are now, something I've always said popularly, if for those who've known me for a while, is whether you like it or not, technology is not really an end in itself; it's a means. So a lawyer will need to understand a bit about the ecosystem in order to be able to, communicate what they do. As a lawyer, you need to serve more people, so you need to have a platform where people can register, like it to expand your reach and your clientele. You use the media. So technology, beyond being, is not really an end in itself. It's a tool. People did not decide to go into technology as, oh, let's just go into the tech ecosystem. No, the question began, how do we solve problems? And in the bid to solve different problems, technology became one of those things. So I always tell people rather, anytime you want to go into any ecosystem, even if it's technology, if you decide it's okay, I want to explore technology, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what are the problems I'm very passionate about solving? Is it problems in health? Is it problems in data science? Is it problem in literally any ecosystem? What kind of problems are you very passionate about solving? When you've recognized what you are really passionate about solving, then you can now come back to answer the question about how do you want to go about it, because that's one part that is one part that's not really talked about. Rather, how do you go about solving the problems you find in that particular ecosystem? So the first, everything must start from the standpoint of asking yourself that critical question: what am I really passionate about? Am I passionate about food and how to serve more food to people? Am I passionate about the SDGs and how to solve the problems in the SDGs? Am I passionate about equality for women? How can technology be a tool for what I want to do? Am I passionate about fashion? So recently there is a lady I've been seeing on LinkedIn. She's really passionate about fashion, and so she's been delving into um, augmented reality and virtual reality. So of course, if you've seen augmented reality, you've played some games, some VR games, where you put your VR headset and then it looks as if you're actually inside the game itself. So she's been building the experiences of trying to build fashion ecosystems that designers can interact with. So once you can use her models, test your designs in 3D, and it looks as if you're actually inside it. I also know someone who is also using VR and AR to in the world of architecture. So once he's done his project, he does the interior decoration of how it's going to look like. He allows his clients the opportunity of experiencing how the interior is going to be like before it is even implemented. So this is how people are using technology to solve problems. Remember, everything you do, deciding to start the journey in technology, that technology is a means and not an end. So you must understand what is your end, or your end, or what's your aim. Then how can technology act as a tool to solving that particular problem? um so choosing a niche, where should you get started from? So as I said before, most persons might not necessarily be inside tech itself, but might be around technology or the hardcore technical work. Most people might not be in the technical department, but at least they might be around it. So, for instance, say this is the park of my airport, and then I decide to build this product. So this could be built by some hardware. This is an hardware engineer. So they would of course have done the system design for this particular product. They would then fabricate the product. Then they work on the electronics of this. So they first of all build out the circuits, and then they will test run it on their system to ensure that it's going to work. And after that, then they now implement it using printed circuit boards, PCBs, and all that to get this done. Of course, we use other machines, laser light machines, and the rest because of it is very it is really miniaturized. So to build this kind of product, we see that there was steps involved. But then the next thing is about sales. People need to understand that or know that this kind of product exists. Not just that, you would also need to expand your reach. So you need someone on the social media end, you need someone on the marketing end. So those people would also be relevant to the things you're trying to do. So of course, they must also understand the technology to an extent. They also have to understand the technology to an extent. So you now find out that yes, for someone that's also going into the marketing space, you can also curtail or expand your skill in marketing to be able to be relevant for most startups who are in technology, because you have to understand how to sell those kind of technical products, and those kind of services that are very technical. You have to also understand their language, like you know exactly what they're trying to talk about in order for you to expand. um the next thing is those in marketing too, which is almost something as sell. You also have people who are doing business development. How do we build a business around a product that's been sold? So you now find out that there's an ecosystem between the people who are building and the people who are bridging the gap between what is being built and the people who would need them. Then you also have the product managers. Now, product managers are people who, we have like the technical product manager and normal product, or sometimes business product manager. So the product manager is focused on the overall ideology of the product from both the technical side, what the designers and the developers are doing, working with them to ensure that everybody comes together to organize that particular system. So this is someone who has good leadership skills, who is organizing the entire team to make everything work. Then you also have the technical product manager who is focused on the product itself, not really about the people, but of course, is also getting feedback from the people to actually the product and has to understand exactly how the product is being built, or at least have an overview of how it's being built in order to be able to communicate with them. So there are a lot of people who are making everything come together. It's not just the technical people. So you have to understand, am I really technical savvy, or is it something I really enjoy? Because it's one thing about wanting to have money in technology. To be honest, sometimes you would feel like giving up. So today I was trying to install Linux for dual boot of my system, and I didn't really know what was going on. Trying to fix the issue, it took me almost 6 hours. I mean, for 6 hours, I was sitting down on my laptop trying to fix an issue. So you feel annoyed, you feel angry, but there will be times you get stuck. And the resolve to continue is not just going to be because you wanted to make money or something. It's going to be because you really have an end in mind. So what is propelling you has to be very strong. So the evolving world of technology is becoming extremely expansive and very immersive. So we have machine learning and AI. If you are someone who would love to see how systems can be automated, let's say smart houses where you wake up in the morning, your house knows it is time, it wakes you up, plays the good music for you, reminds you about your fitness routine, tells you about the good diet you could eat today, updates you on the news, sends you some information about your recent emails, help you to respond to them. That is how machine learning and AI can be part of our life, by taking data, studying data. So that is data science. It has so much correlation with AI and machine learning, because for systems and machines to be able to make decisions, you have to feed them with some sort of data that enables them to make decisions based on the models you've used. So you could decide if that's something you're very passionate about. Next thing is, of course, is web and mobile, which is something that we're very popular. If you've used any website, you have the front end, the back end. Every single website that you've interacted with, there's somebody who's building that website. The website, of course, could be to sell a product, to sell an idea, to give information about a particular organization. So there's actually somebody who is building in that particular ecosystem. Same thing too as your mobile app, whether they are building for Android, which could be with Kotlin or other languages, maybe, or React Native, of course. Maybe they are building and then they are deploying it on the Play Store. They're also building for the App Store for iOS users. So there's going to always be someone building in either of those different ecosystems. So there are also people that are also building for like hybrid apps, where they build one single app and then they can deploy on different. They can build and deploy on the different platforms. So you can also say, okay, maybe I really want to build product that people can use on their phones directly. So there are just so much that could be done. Then you also have people who are into AR and VR. So AR is augmented reality and virtual reality. So virtual reality is where you are being immersed in the system where everything is virtual. Augmented reality is when they try to overlap digital world on the physical world. So let's say like Snapchat, for instance. A lot of that is augmented reality, where you turn on your listening device, and then it maps your face, and then it changes how your face looks like, puts beards on it. That's a real life use of augmented reality at work. And there is the others like mixed reality. So some persons are using this to gamify processes. So now I'll give you an example. Let's say you're a teacher, or you're someone that's interested in teaching. You could say, okay, I want to build a product that is going to take teaching from the conventional ways it's being done in the classroom, and I want to build AR learning where it can be very immersive. Imagine if students can have the opportunity to go to the zoo, visit the zoo, visit Paris, visit the different wonders of the world, and just be around the globe, and have the opportunity to speak with Einstein, or speak with top leaders as if they were there, or have the opportunity to be in the United Nations General Assembly and see other members as if you were actually there in person. Can you build those kind of and then you have that passion to build those kind of experiences? That could now be something that can make you, passionate or interested about getting into the technology itself. So you begin to tinkle with AR and VR, join teams and everything, and then see how you can use what you're learning to solve a problem. So it's always good that you have a strong end in mind, because there are days, I promise you, and I'm not going to lie, there are days you will feel like giving up. There are days you just feel tired. There are days you feel like you just cannot go on again. There are days you feel like you just cannot continue again. There are days you'll be asking yourself, what exactly am I really doing? So you have to really, 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 really um, understand that this is the kind of ecosystem you want to go into, and understand exactly what you want out of it. Um, so that's that. And then you also have UI and UX design. So there are some people that maybe they don't really want to spend time, coding, and then they are interested in the design part. From when you are interacting with the AR and VR experiences, there are people who are interested in design as well. So you also have so you also have people who are interested in designs, and they might not really want to spend time looking at lines and lines of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Golang, or Rust, or Haskell, but they really want to be able to build what people can interact with. All those beautiful things you see when you open your Facebook, the interface you see, all those buttons, everything. UI UX designers. When you open your WhatsApp, everything you're seeing. When you open your Safari browser, everything you see. When you open your favorite music app, your Spotify, every single thing you see on that interface, there are people that are building it. So you have to understand exactly what you want and why you would want it. You get, so it makes the entire journey very, very interesting. There are also game developers, which is also a bubbling ecosystem. In game development, you try to gamify the experiences, so you could gamify learning. And recently, I read a book by, I think, Routledge. That's her name. I think that's on Routledge, but I can't recall her first name. So her focus is on how to gamify experience. You could gamify business, you could gamify learning. So now she has understood the technology of building games and has found ways to also apply it to not just building games 2D and 3D AR VR powered games, but also finding ways to that businesses could use it to ensure that that their products are really, really engaging. So it's really interesting. For me, for instance, I'm in the blockchain space, and the interesting thing about blockchain is that blockchain is disrupting the way things work. So for all the technologies I've mentioned about, they are mostly centralized technologies, meaning there's going to be a single individual or single company that's controlling that entire technology. And so what will now need to happen is that every single person would now need to, find a way to plug into that technology, and your data is in their control. Of course, there are privacy policies, but most times people are in doubt about how their data or their private information is being used. So there are a lot of questions in centralized ecosystems, and if it collapses, then it affects every single person. I think about a day or two ago, WhatsApp was down for like almost 2 hours, and almost every year we have different networks. Like Twitter was down at some point, I think last year, for some hours. So there's always that different maps of time where where you have downtimes and uptimes and so on and so forth. So it's really, really interesting to understand that things are really evolving this way. For blockchain technology, for instance, the beautiful thing about the blockchain technology is that because it is being distributed, one single person does not really have control over the network. So there's a consensus mechanism that ensures that every server or node on the ecosystem needs to agree with every transaction by checking its own record. So it's like saying, I claim I own this, but I never really owned this. So if I now say I own this, that information is broadcasted to everybody. Everybody checks their record to confirm that I once bought it. So if it is yes, then automatically I can now make decisions based on that. But if it's no, then after I've made that, I attempted to make to like sell it, claiming I owned it, it will be reversed on their own platform. So like more than 50% of the network has to agree about my decision. So the beautiful thing about that is that now we can create money, and because we can create money, what that means is um no single entity can control money. No single entity can control an ecosystem. So we have a trustless system where trust is on top of the machine. The, Another beautiful thing is the fact that there's also it also allows for peer-to-peer connection, meaning I can send money directly from here to someone in Cyprus, send money from here to someone in the Netherlands without having to use a third party like a bank. So most time, if you need to send money through a bank to someone in the US, it will be sent through my Nigerian bank, My Nigerian bank, I'll send it to my Nigerian bank. My Nigerian bank would have like a reserve in a foreign bank, which they will now use to offset that particular amount of money before it now sent to the person that the money is going to. So sometimes you have like a 2 to 3 day period where they will have to clear everything. And so that's just it. So when you want to go into technology, you have to ask yourself, what is the end in mind? And why do I really want to go into this ecosystem? Are you into real estate? And there's also amazing use cases. So I talked about how someone is using AR and VR to redefine the paradigm of how interior decorations or interior design is being done in the real estate world. Recently, the company I work with, we partner with a company in Zimbabwe, that is using NFTs to provide land ownership solutions. So once you need to do is you need to hold the tokens and hold some NFTs. That gives you right for you to be able to own houses, and they are bidding real estate properties in Zimbabwe. So you see how technology is solving a real life problem. Always remember that it is a means and not an end in itself. So regardless of wherever you find yourself, you are very passionate about it. Of course, you also want to make money, which is why we're into this. You won't spend less than just because I just love this technology. No, you want to actually build yourself in it because you also want to earn. So it's very, very important that you understand exactly why you are going to the ecosystem, and put yourself there to go the extra mile to build something and find problems you need to solve. So start with a problem that you're very passionate about. Number two, find product and tools, or find something that interests you, or a technology that's going to help you to solve that particular problem that you are passionate about. Then number three, which is very, very important if you are starting out your journey in technology, find communities. So when I was on campus, I led Google Developer Student Community. For students on campuses, we also have that community. We have I4G, which is led by Ingressive for Good. You have Microsoft Learn, which is a technology of a community of students who are interested in Microsoft technologies. You have AWS builders. You have Polygon builders for those who are going to Web3. You have I think GitHub campus ambassadors also. So you have this community that helps you to connect, build, and grow. And the community I've been part of, I've seen amazing things happen. Like these guys are really done amazing things since we left campus. Some some time back, every single person I've seen their journey just being amazing, unfolding in amazing ways. So there's no better time to be part of the ecosystem like now. It's really amazing to see what people are really building, and we keep on pushing the bar every single day. So if you want to start out in technology, understand that it is an evolving world. You will not learn, reach a peak, and just become an expert forever. No. Once you've mastered something, always understand that new things are going to come out. So some years back, if you ask about front end, they'll tell you JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Then back end, they'll tell you PHP, maybe PHP, ASP.NET, Ruby on Rails, things like that. But right now, JavaScript now has even broken some of this ecosystem. So you have people using JavaScript to build React with React and Vue or Express on the front end. Also using the same JavaScript to build with Node on the back end. At the same time, having things like Next that tries to combine the front end and back end together. Then you have people now using blockchain to incorporate with their technology. So you have like libraries like Web3.js that allows you to incorporate your smart contract to communicate with your front end. So it is a really, really amazing ecosystem. So if you want to start out, there are tools like Coursera where you can go. There are free code camp. Free code camp is actually really, really amazing. So please, as far as you're interested in study out in the different technologies that interest you, find out what works for you, build yourself in that particular ecosystem, and the journey just becomes interesting from there. So thank you very much. I feel like I've just been talking to myself. If there are questions, you can send it in. But in the meantime, I think that's just mostly it about the world of tech. I didn't just want to say too much because it's really broad and we cannot really exhaust everything. Hello, Komi. So I don't know if there are questions. So I could, just take. Yes, 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 yes.
Did
All
you
right,
know
Brian.
you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Comey Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now. Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Comey Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now. Did you know you can do more, be more, and express your best self? Find out more with Comey Marvin on the Unmute Yourself, a personal development series. It's time for you to unmute the voice of your gift, express your genuine self without fear, and step out of the darkness of self-doubt and imperfection. We've been waiting for you. Your time starts now.